when school was out, I'd walk straight down the street, walk down there, and I'd knock on the door, and his wife would answer the door, and come on in, boy, come on in. And she would say, hey, sit in the chair right there. And my feet wouldn't even be on the floor, because I was so little, And he would come in, and how you doing, son? I said, I'm doing fine. He said, I tell you what I want you to do. I want you to go down there, and I want you to break in this place, this tavern down there. It's called the Elsa. You break in there and get your friend, too.
You're just a kid.
I'm just a kid, right? Well, whatever grown folks tell you to do,
right?
That's what you did.
So hear what I say, for it is the truth you see. There can only be one, the original.
OG, 2 letters that define respect. Welcome to the original OGs. I created the original OGs to document the forgotten parts of American history. I want to recognize and give a voice to the men and women that have climbed to the top of their game. Believe me, the men and women that sit in front of this marquee have been authenticated as original OGs. My name is Mr. Rick. Welcome to my world, a world of the originals, the unique. Welcome to the original OGs. Welcome to the original OGs. I'm your host, Mr. Rick. Today's guest is Sonny from Brooklyn, Illinois, by way of East St. Louis. It is my pleasure to have you today, sir. It's been a long time. How are you feeling today?
Great.
Good. Give me a little history on Brooklyn, Illinois.
Well, Brooklyn, Illinois is the oldest black community in the United States of America. Everything there is black. The mayor, the judges, the police, the community. One of the most wonderful places that I've ever seen.
What was that like as a young man growing up in Brooklyn?
It was wonderful. We had top athletes, bands, education, and everything you could think of. Even back in 1958, we had a Quick Trip before a Quick Trip was even invented.
And that was a black-owned?
That was a black-owned business because the whole town is black.
Right.
We didn't know how wonderful it was back in the day. We thought it was normal.
Right. What would you say is different about Brooklyn that you see in most other cities?
The difference is that you feel freer to do things and not be criticized in a harsh manner.
Mm-hmm. What about doing business in Brooklyn for black people? How is that today?
Well, it's not very many businesses there anymore, because at one time they had packing houses and steel mills, and people came from the South to come to East St. Louis because jobs was plentiful, and it lasted that way for a long time.
Wow.
Now it's critical. I mean, there's nothing there anymore. But I'm there. It's pretty much an entertainment center for grown folks.
Okay.
And pretty much it's always been that way because back in the day, even when it was more prosperous, they had the largest nightclub. Back in the day when Roy Hamilton and Little Richard and all those people were coming to St. Louis, they came to Brooklyn. See, because the city of St. Louis really was kind of discriminated against, but you don't notice when it's happening then. You know it now because now you can look over your shoulder and see what was being done. And a city like St. Louis had a place called Riviera, and it wasn't very big at all. And the true entertainers had to come to Brooklyn for the size of the buildings. We had large buildings and everything,
So what's the difference between East St. Louis and St. Louis?
A river and a state. I guess every city has its ups and downs as far as like New York and New Jersey, East St. Louis and St. Louis in different states. And they seem to not want to get along with one another.
Right.
It's I'm better than you.
Okay.
But we're all the same, really, but it just seems that way,
Right. So you said East St. Louis or Brooklyn is now an entertainment district per se.
Brooklyn is
okay.
Nothing but entertainment.
Explain that.
Well, I mean, everything there is for adults. The main ingredient there is strip clubs.
And you happen to have
the largest.
The largest
Yeah.
and one of the hottest strip clubs in America.
in the United States of America, right?
Yes, sir. Explain, how did you get into that?
Spending money and making it beautiful.
So when you first started, what gave you the idea to do a strip club?
Well, my started from my father years ago, back in the 60s, before it was popular, you know?
Right.
And I worked for him.
For your father.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, this was in the state of Iowa. Iowa was more aggressive than the state of Illinois. I mean, they had strip clubs and stuff like this here, you know? So I worked for my father. I worked for him, and I did all kind of little chores and different stuff like this here. And he passed away.
Okay.
Yeah, and just like I got a son. It's a family business.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
my sisters, I mean, they're bookkeepers and accountants and all this kind of stuff, you know.
Now, your father was working with or for who? Or whom?
Shady people. So, I mean, you can call them shady, but
Right.
they're not really shady people. They're just shady people. Some people call them gangsters, mobsters, and such, you know, and that type of businesses. Most black people never ventured into that beyond having what they call taverns.
Okay.
Where they just sell beer and whiskey and stuff. They get drunk, you understand what I mean? But there was no female entertainment. It
Right.
was not connected to the liquor.
Right. That's where the money was.
And that's sort of how my father started into this type of business,
Okay.
connecting the liquor with the girls.
Right. Your father passed away, and did you begin to work for these people?
No, I didn't need them. See,
You didn't
because
need 'em.
I didn't need them, see, because it was already set in stone. See,
Exactly.
Yeah, see what he did. As a matter of fact, they didn't even like me.
Okay.
Yeah, see, because, you know, I work for my father. And whatever my father tell me to do, if it was jump off the building, I'd
Right.
jump off the building, right? He wanted to have a touring business, right? So he had me to run the touring business. The mafia guy had gave my father a bunch of money for the touring business, right? See, so I kind of screwed it up.
Okay.
Yeah. See, so by me screwing it up and everything, they got kind of mad at me, you know.
Right.
So they told my father, because he was getting ready to die. They told him, said, we don't want to deal with him.
Right.
You know, and they did me a favor. See, because then they left me out there all by myself.
Right.
Do or die. And I didn't die.
You end up leaving Iowa and went to
Brooklyn.
Brooklyn. What was he doing in Brooklyn, your father?
Well, he was like a policeman and a thug. And in Brooklyn, black people could do whatever they wanted to. And they had a lot of ruthless people. I mean, you could get killed in that town.
Right.
And I don't think they ever heard of a corner. They just put you in a wheelbarrow and push you down the street.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, they didn't know. They had law and order. Had
Just didn't exist,
Had,
huh?
had nothing to do with this community, right?
Right.
Yeah, I'm just telling you. You
Right,
understand me?
I
Yeah,
get
you,
it.
Yeah, you can come up missing. You dig?
Wow.
Yeah. See, so that's when they started talking about black on black crime. But this was the white people, right?
Right.
And the reason they were saying this is because they didn't know who was doing what.
Right.
See, so but they wanted to, I guess, do justice. You know what I mean? You know, but what is justice? The white people wanted to do some justice, but I think justice is a way of finding a new way to make some money.
Right.
You understand me? So if a person get killed, they got these funeral homes and stuff like this here, and it was being drawn into another phase of life.
Right.
See, before it was almost like a guy would get killed and he would go from the street to a hole in the ground.
Right.
Yeah.
Bypassed all of that industry.
Yeah.
I've heard that at some point you worked for some specific gentleman that had a lot of power, and he did a lot of good things for you.
Yeah, that started when I was in the 3rd grade, right?
Okay.
He was the mayor
Okay.
and the principal and the supervisor
And the grocer and the
of that community, right?
right.
You know,
Which community?
Brooklyn,
Brooklyn,
Illinois.
okay.
Right. Yeah, this man was, you know. And I was like, when I first encountered with him, I was like in the 3rd grade, right?
Okay.
And he would come to the window and tap on the window, and the teacher would go out to see what he wanted. I want to talk to him. See, so I would go out in the hallway. I'm just a little kid, right?
Right.
I'd go out in the hallway, and he would say, when you get out of school, boy, come back my house. I want to talk to you. I said, yes, sir. When school was out, I'd walk down, because it's straight down the street. I'd walk down there and I'd knock on the door and his wife would answer the door and, come on in, boy, come on in. I would go in there and she would say, hey, sit in the chair right there. And my feet would even be on the floor, because I was so little, And he would come in and behind the desk there and he would say, how you doing, son? I said, I'm doing fine. He said, I tell you what I want you to do. I want you to go down there. I'm in the 3rd grade then, right? I want you to go down there and I want you to break in this place, this tavern down there. It's called the House Hall. You break in there and get your friend too. And y'all go in there and steal all the liquor out, everything.
Trash it.
Yeah, I'm taking contracts, but I don't know that's what it is. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I'm just doing what he said.
You're just a kid.
I'm just a kid, right? Yeah, doing what I'm supposed, whatever grown folks tell you to do.
Right.
That's what you did.
And what year was this?
Oh, probably in 1959.
Wow.
I was just like a little kid,
Yeah, I was
right?
just 1 year old, so
Yeah,
go ahead.
and see, so I would do these things and stuff, you know what I mean, for this man. And he never gave me no money.
Really?
I didn't even know what money was. I never even asked. I just did what he, see, whenever grown folks tell you to do something, when I grew up, you do what grown folks tell you to do.
Exactly.
And you don't talk back, you just go and do it.
Exactly.
Yeah, and that's what I did. I just went and did it. Later on, my sisters told me why he did these things, because I never knew why he did that. I never asked for no money, but I love basketball, right?
Right.
So all of a sudden, the basketball court is getting asphalt. I mean,
Right, because you're on it every day.
but I don't know he's doing this for me.
I get it.
I just see him walking down the street in the evening time. When I'd see him, I liked him because I liked his shoes. He wore Stacey Adams shoes.
Right.
And I could see it. He would walk down. He was very quiet. He did. But later on in life, my sisters told me, said, the reason that he would have you do these things is because my mother's father was his best friend.
Wow.
See, and I guess he would tell this man, had that boy to do it, because he's all right, because, I'd go over there and in the evening time, I'd do chores for him, my mother's father, and I guess those old men would talk and say, now get that boy to go do it, see. I mean, I'm not doing it because I'm a bad kid. I'm doing what grown
You're
folks
just
said
doing
do.
what you were
Whatever
told.
grown folks tell you to do, that's what you do.
Right.
If it's shoot somebody, that's
do
what
what
you
grown
do,
folks
right?
said.
But, when I came up, you just didn't talk back. You just did what you was told to do,
Right.
My father and stuff, like I said, they ventured over into these businesses and stuff, and I just trailed along right behind them doing my chores.
You rang the marriage doorbell.
Yes. Now he wants me to go up here, this white man who came to this black community, and he's got a Tomboy supermarket, right? And this white man is helping this doctor, who is a black doctor, run against the mayor.
Oh, I get it.
Yeah, so he's telling me, you go get your friend. Now, I'm in the 3rd grade, and you come back and you knock the windows out of that place, and you go in and take the whole store. He said, get your friend. He said, and then I'm going to send 2 police officers down there to make sure that nobody interfere with what you're doing.
Golly.
So, I mean, this is how I was raised.
Right.
Doing all of these devious little things that I never thought was wrong. Right. So I grew up, and I done went to prison now, actually 4 times, right?
Right.
And going to prison was like a treat.
Wow.
I just couldn't wait to get there. Because it was like, to me, it was like a resume.
Right.
If you're going to be a bad person, you got to do bad things, and bad things got to happen to you, and you got to survive.
I come up in that tail end of that era, so
you
I
gotta
understand.
Survive, right?
Yeah.
See, so
you need that badge of honor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because when you're a kid, you're kind of stupid. Just like these kids nowadays, all these young gangbangers and stuff, which I've been all of these things, you know what I mean? They can't figure out how they get busted. Well, when you're a kid, you get busted because you tell everybody what you do. I killed so-and-so, so-and-so. I shot so-and-so, so-and-so, you did? And you might even tell his girlfriend.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I know better than all this shit. I mean, now, I know. After
some punishment.
After all these penitentiary trips, I got it figured out. I said, tell this bitch nothing.
Okay.
Because secret is, like my sister said, if you can't keep a secret, why do I have to keep it?
Okay.
Yeah, see, so most of the thugs and stuff, when I came to this city right here, It was one of my father's friends.
Right.
You knew his name, right? He's dead now, Chenault.
Chenault, yes.
Yeah, see, so when I came here, St. Louis is not a very small place either, you know what I mean? But it's nothing like this.
I get it.
And the things that the people talk about here is kind of different from the things that they talk about there.
Mm-hmm.
See, so I'm looking at this, I'm getting a chance to see this stuff here up front.
Right.
I never got a chance to do anything here, but I would have done something, you know. I'm seeing all this gangster stuff in Chicago and stuff like this here, you know what I mean? And it's not really different from St. Louis, but it's just more organized.
Right.
And that's what happens here, you know.
Mm-hmm.
It's personal
Behind
politics.
the scene string pulling.
Yeah, the little kid I used to be, he's around here all the time.
And it's a lot of them.
You know, these little school kids and stuff. It's like that boy got killed in this town here not too long ago. They said he was like 12 years old over on this west side. They talked about him, said, well, he's only 12 years old. Those are the ones.
Right. I get what you're saying. They're being misled.
Well, I mean, you know, I'm not saying that every 12-year-old person is
no, we're not saying
is a bad person, but it's the young kids that'll do anything without hesitation.
So, at this point, now that you've gone to Chicago, dealt with Mr. Chenault, gone back to St. Louis and Brooklyn,
Yeah.
then you began to build your place, and now you're here in your place, and your son starts to do things for you.
He's here.
Yeah.
Right.
So
He's another generation.
Exactly.
Right. See, all of the shit that I had, the stuff that I had to go through, he doesn't have to do that. You understand what I mean? Because I know better. See, there's a lot of times, you know, people, young kids, they commit crimes and stuff like this here because there's no money.
Right.
You know, and everybody wants to have something, and nobody wants to be left out, you know what I mean?
Right.
And sometimes money is complicated.
This show has the intent to define what a real OG is, what an original OG is. My partner and I have developed a method to ensure that if someone should sit in front of this OG logo, that they have been authenticated and found to be true in their history as far as what an OG is.
Now you're back in Brooklyn. You have your business established. It's doing very well.
Yeah.
And now you're turning that business over to your son.
Well, when you said turn it over.
Well, he's governing it.
Yeah, that's my son.
Right.
Just like my father, me, him.
Now he's in charge.
He's in charge.
That's what I'm trying to get at.
Right.
I want to explore that a little bit. So why don't we bring your son in, Jason, and let's explore that a little bit if you don't mind.
I don't mind.
Come on in, Jason. How you doing, brother? So good to see you, man.
Yeah,
hey, you know, we're for the listening audience, we're not new to each other. This is like family to me. I've been in and out of Brooklyn 100,000 times. We became friends, and I'd come to Brooklyn and come to the Bottoms Up, and I was at home. I'm still at home when I go there, you know. It's always been a place for me to relax. And I'd come in, and sometimes I'd see Sonny if it was daytime. Sometimes I wouldn't. But I'd always see Jason. He and I would play chess with the manager, Shep. That's correct?
Yeah.
And he's a great chess player.
Yeah.
He really is. Yeah.
And I was battling with him last night.
Right.
On the chessboard.
1-1.
1-1. We both made mistakes. That's okay. I hadn't played in about a year. I don't know how long it's been since you played.
Yeah, right.
No, you know.
Any excuse is better than none.
That's what me and Jason was saying last night. Right. You know, it's like riding a bicycle.
Yeah, right.
You know, so we'll play again. Mm-hmm. But let's talk a little bit about what your childhood was like coming up under your dad. I call him Uncle Sonny. You know.
Everything always been wonderful.
Wow.
Been great. All my Christmases was good.
Oh, wow.
You know what I'm saying?
At what point did you start taking over the business?
Taking over, I mean...
You know, transitioning.
It ain't even really like been no transit. It was like, it was always mine.
Right.
From the very from the beginning.
Right, that's what he was trying to express to me. It's been his all the time.
Right,
okay. Okay, so what has that experience been like, having the hottest club in Brooklyn and one of the hottest clubs in America?
I mean, I guess it's exciting, but it's just normal. It's just like an everyday thing because we always been in this world. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Just another day.
What would one of your days be like in the bottoms up?
I mean, every day do be different because anything could happen. You know what I'm saying? It's always something going on. You
Right.
know what I'm saying? Small things, little things, you know. But they all been pleasant though. You know what I'm saying? I ain't got no complaints. Put it like that.
And that business has helped you and allowed you to excel how in your personal life?
I mean, I don't want for nothing.
We understood that from here.
and as far as anybody personal with me, they ain't gonna want for nothing either.
You're in the music business. You're in the video business. You're doing some things. So does that give you the power, having a financial base? Does that give you the power to do these other things?
Yeah, it gives you an advantage.
Yeah, that's what I'm getting at.
So,
you know.
yeah.
So it allows you to pick and choose some things if you so desire.
Yes.
That's a beautiful thing, man, because, you know, for many, many years for me, I wanted to do a lot of things, but I didn't have the foundation to do them from, you know, and when you have that foundation, you can pick and choose. It's a hell of a different thing.
Yeah, it's an advantage.
Yeah, it's a great advantage.
Yeah, it's all because of him.
Hey,
He
and
put
I
me in that
understand.
position, you know.
So what are some of your adventures today that you're thinking about and heading toward, you know, outside the club?
I mean, now it's starting to, you know, do the music thing. And I like these cameras.
Hey, come
like
on,
these
give it to
cameras
me.
For real.
Give
like
it
what's
to
going
me.
on, you know? So I think that's probably the future. Just doing, and it's fun, you know, doing these movies and stuff like that.
Hey, man, being able to have an idea or a concept or a vision, bringing that vision to life.
Right.
Hey, that's a feeling a lot of people have not experienced. You're welcome to join the family.
Appreciate that.
Hey,
Yeah.
I mean, it's real simple. We're doing some very powerful things. Uncle Sonny and I were sitting talking, and we're going to look into some things, you know. And I already know he ain't gonna look into nothing without every time you ask him something, he gonna say, "Well, let me talk to my son." You know what I'm saying? So we're gonna look at some things, and my partner, who's the head producer, he's looking at some things. We have some major deals going on, so let's have a beautiful conversation about it and see where we can go with it. Okay, so right now we're gonna get into something else. Here's the bone I want to pick with you. Before you got here yesterday, why didn't you tell me it was your birthday, man?
Just being old. I'm not very proud of getting older.
Yeah, but you stripped me of my joy.
Yeah, well.
So here's
live with it.
Yeah, no, I ain't gonna live with that. Here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna take it back. Come on, wife.
Yeah. Oh.
Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday, Uncle Sonny. Happy birthday to you.
Thank you.
Blow it out, brother. Beautiful thing.
I made it.
Put it here, baby.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Hey, I'll tell you something about my birthday, though.
Real fast.
When I was in the 8th grade, my teacher told me, she says, you know what? If you just don't disturb the class, she said, I'm going to pass you. She said, because you don't need an education. She said, because you're going to be dead before you get 16.
Wow.
Yeah, that's what she told me.
And you're
Yeah.
76.
Well, no, I'm 78.
8.
Yeah, right.
So they lied. It's a beautiful
Right,
thing.
but I've
So,
never had a drink. I don't drink alcohol. I don't
Right.
use drugs. I don't do nothing. I can't hardly walk now, but I sure played a lot of basketball and I could run too. See, so I never thought that this would happen to me.
Right.
You know what I mean? Yeah, right.
So we're going to leave it right there. We want you guys to stay tuned. We want you to hit that subscribe button. I'm telling you, you really want to follow this thing. You're going to get some hell of information. We're going to look forward to coming back to you with more and more and more. So we will see you soon. Subscribe, please follow. That's it. That's all.
We have created this show so that men and women alike can come forward and tell their truth If you have people that you believe to be an OG, go into the comment section, write us, let us know where to find the history so that we can authenticate it, bring them on the show, tell their story so that we can add to the American history. That's it. That's all.
The original OG.